What's up, Bears fan? This is Bearlissimo with another breakdown. This time we're looking at the Sanborn identity, as I've titled the video. Jack Sanborn, obviously undrafted rookie out of Wisconsin. He showed a lot of promise in the preseason, which I've put out a video about previously. Liked him coming in out of Wisconsin. His stablemate Leo Chanel was the one who got all the headlines, but Jack Sanborn in college was basically the guy that was dependable, would plug the holes, knew his reads, very intelligent linebacker, and that showed in the preseason. What we saw in his first starting action in the absence of Roquan Smith, that we actually have a player on our hands. And what I like about this particular play, as we roll forward, you will see he's basically sees his pass, and then he turns, looks, sees it's a draw. So they're showing pass, but you see them seal, and as this seal block comes in here, obviously then it sort of points, as you see a stalk block, we don't see a route from this wide receiver here. So he knows that's the case. So now he knows he needs to come up and sort of play the run. He's going to basically spy which side the linebacker is going to attack, and then he's going to go and plug and make a really solid tackle for what is basically half a yard gain, maybe at best. So you see it from this angle. Obviously it looks like pass pro initially, it's a draw. As you see, Morrow, who is on the blitz, gets through. Tight end seals him down. So Jack basically comes in before the lineman can get there. Comes in, fills. Really solid form tackle there. To get down low, shoulder across the body, wrap around the back of the legs, bring the man down. So that's a great start for Jack Sanborn. So we're into the second play. We have Jack here as part of what looks like nickel, because we've got Jaquan Brisker, who's basically up in the box as the extra man. Cornerback obviously off and deep, one safety high. Looks like press here with outside alignment, which would sort of suggest man. So that would make you think that potentially this might be a man for Jack Sanborn. Let's have a look at see what we get in terms of this sort of the play. So as you see, it drops off into what looks like now cover two, and now we're going to come up. So that suggests sort of cover two, possibly cover two man again. Again, linebackers haven't moved, neither has this safety. Let's see if the safety rolls back into three, which it now looks like three deep, which would suggest that you sort of zone under this kind of area. So let's see what Jack does. What I like here, and it's the difference tomorrow, so you can see a direct difference between the two, is the depth that Jack gets, and the fact that his eyes, if you notice, his eyes are on all three receivers, whereas Morrow's eyes are in the backfield. Admittedly, Morrow has two potential threats to his zone, which are there and there, or a potential, crosser coming across from this direction. You see Jack is basically looking to see, and this is the whole thing about Jack Sanborn that I really like in zone. He's basically looking to see what these two guys are doing, because he knows that's the short flat as it's come up and out. So he knows that whichever is the under of these guys, the ones he's going to need to convert to. And you see him turn, holding and maintain his area. Now he's watching the QB's eyes. QB wants to get the ball out. Jack sort of has to stop, turn. Is the one that gets in and on the tackle, even though we've got a DB at this point who is basically a yard, 3 yards maybe tops, 3 yards away from the receiver. But Jack Sanborn, who's further away, is the one who reads, reacts, gets up, starts pursuing. Again, head across the body. Didn't wrap as well that time, but again, in terms of the pass drop, again, look at where his eyes are initially, reading the guards. Okay, now I know it's pass. Okay, you see now he's looking at his threats. 1, 2, 3 over here. Here we're basically looking in the backfield. And that's the difference between Jack and other linebackers when they drop. And then out comes the ball. Again, in terms of location, that's the cornerback who was nearest to him. Obviously Jack, in terms of the guys that he had that could threaten his zone. Don't forget this guy was coming sort of from out to in. And this one's going deep and that one's going deep. So these were the two that Jack was interested in initially. But you see he's able to change direction, accelerate, get up, hit the legs, take him down. So another good tackle for Jack Sanborn. So it's the third play in the series now. Obviously we've got two tight ends to the right, half back, quite far back in the backfield, that would normally suggest you're going to have some sort of potential run play. Outside alignment, head up alignment here. Looks like two safeties, so possibly cover two. Let's see what we get. I don't think there's any pre-snap motion, there isn't. So here, again, you kind of see that very early on, they're going to try and work the zone here. Block down, block in, and then you've got two sort of blocking like that. That's what the idea is. Get Jack Sanborn that way. Look, you see the tackle, Penei Sewell. 58 there, trying to get Jack Sanborn. Jack needs to basically control this gap because he has the other linebacker scraping and filling there. And to be fair, I want to also highlight here Justin Jones, because this is a great inside move here on the guard. Gets on the guard, gets past him. He tries to pass him off to the other guy coming across, or Santo, who never gets off his block, because Armand Watts does a good job. Justin Jones gets through, chases down, has him in the backfield, but as you can see, as he's trying to bounce it outside there, who is the guy that's coming up to make the tackle anyway? It's Jack Sanborn. So looking at it from the backfield now, again, it's about reading your keys. So we actually get like a slant. So we get a slant there, and you got the double, which obviously with that inside shade, it's the slant nose is what they normally call it, but he's not actually head up. A little bit slow to react to Armand Watts, and you see they're trying to get on work a double, but Justin Jones is through there so quick, he's into the backfield. This looks like a hold potentially to me here, but you know, the refs are going to do what the refs are going to do. We've got Panay still trying to get up onto Jack Sanborn. Jack's having none of it. See how he squares him up there just to settle his feet. See him take that jab step with his right foot. Watch this right foot jab step in towards the player. See, it makes him settle his feet down. Then he gets past him. Outside leverage. There he is. He cut outside. You've got Jack Sanborn to deal with. Comes up. Justin Jones has made the tackle anyway. But if he hadn't, then Jack Sanborn would have been cleaning up. But good work from Jack Sanborn. So it's the next play, and you can see we've got a tight end up here. We've got a halfback in the backfield here. So halfback is here. Wide receiver is here. So it looks like some sort of funky 11 personnel. I'm not sure if this guy's a tight end as well, so it might be 12. That would suggest, if this is a tight end and you've got a cornerback over there, that would suggest that we're running some form of zone. Again, outside leverage though would suggest man or match man. Obviously one linebacker there. Sorry, that's Jaquan Brisker there. There's Morrow and there's Jack Sanborn. Let's see what we get from them. Okay, quite obvious passing situation initially it looks like, but you see they're blocking down and you've got to pull. So you've got a seal there and they're trying to pull and lead for this here. And they do a pretty good job because Jackson sort of gets that block there. Everyone else crashes down. This guy gets inside and the pull is going to come through here to Jack Sanborn. You can quite clearly see him there. He's going to try and get round to Jack Sanborn through this gap into here. Again, Jack, what I love is, you know, sometimes you have to play the block, and this is what Rokon would always try and run around. He's not really in a position because he's starting so far back and the puller comes in there. You've got to stop him, and if you do, and you play up like that physical on the block, much heavier man, you knock him into the halfback, and then your mate, who doesn't now have to deal with the blocker, can just scrape over the top, pull up, get the tackle, and make a nice play, as you see there. So again, looking at it from this angle, so we're going to get sort of an inside block here. You're going to see just basically what looks like zone here all the way, and then you're going to get a pull up and lead it in. Sorry, this guy's going to, I've done mark that up wrong. That's going to be blocked there, down, 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 pull, inside there. That's basically what we're going to get. So you see it come up there as Jaquan Brisker comes inside. Tight end gets inside the defensive end. Armand Watts goes down, unfortunately. That's not great for him, but you know, at the end of the day, this is what Jack Sanborn does. See him come up, press the hole. You see how he gives himself an outside step there, so he's not going to have to take him on full-blooded straight up. Outside step, because then, once you step that, you can now power step into this guy. Boom, explosion into Panay Sewell. Bang, you see that explosion? If he doesn't take that outside step and then firm up and then press his legs off that, he doesn't stop him dead. Because he does that, literally into Armon Ross and Brown in the backfield. You see him get his hand on there for the tackle. Jack's actually got his hand on there. Right there. Morrow comes over the top. And we get a nice tackle for not very much gain, but good work by Jack Sanborn, stopping the pulling guy, knocking him into the backfield, into Armon Ross and Brown. That's why we get a stop so quickly. So in this play, this alignment, we've got 12 personnel. Again, 2 tight ends, one tailback. You've got Morrow up in this gap, which is quite interesting in terms of alignment. You've got, obviously, Thomas and Jack Sanborn there. Jaquan Brisker coming up on the edge. So the cornerbacks look like they're in man because they're both over the wide receivers over here. That would suggest man across the board, which would suggest you might get some sort of stat release if it's a receiving play. So you see Jaquan Brisker communicating with Jack Sanborn. Jack Sanborn's mentioning something back. Let's see what we get, because we've got what looks like a blitz around the edge, and this might mean we've got a bluff. It's not everyone's coming by looks of things, and it even looks like Jack's going to be coming as well on a delay. And he is. So as the halfback, and this is where you need to sort of suss a little bit that the halfback is trying to slip out. So as you, this one here really, because that's the easy tell, because obviously Jack's coming at a rate of knots. This is the easy tell. When you slip by this easily, you kind of need to throttle it down and get back. Ball makes it gets tipped there. Again, it's a stop and change and turn of direction and chasing the ball. You see how quickly he's able to stop his feet, turn, change direction, accelerate, get back towards the ball. But you know, just showing that he's got the ability as well to blitz, which we did see later in the game to some good effect. And again, when 73 just basically puts his hand on you like that, you see it's just like a little love pat. That's when you know you need to kind of stop your feet. So it is a little bit late recognition, but again, well, I say it's late recognition. Taps his foot and then he stops dead there and turns and chases. So again, good work. Something to be aware of though is where you get you know, a powder puff block. You need to recognise that, stop and then chase the guy who's just slipped out behind you. So the next play later on in the quarter, and what you can see quite clearly, we're going to get a motion here that tells you it's kind of zoned across the board. Again, it's about recognition of what you're getting. You see how quickly the guard's coming up off the line, and that on the opposite side to Jack Sanborn. So no, it is Jack Sanborn's side. This is his read guard here. Watch how quickly he reacts. Comes up, so he sees the centre and the tackle. You see them there, the centre and the tackle are trying to get down to the linebackers right here. What I like about this is the patience to sort of both linebackers, to be fair, both Morrow and Sanborn, come up, press, work the man, see where the ball's going, because you see him cut it outside, trying to get up on wanting a single on this DB. Okay, now I'm going to stack and shed, get off him, otherwise he's holding you. Come in and help make the tackle. Nice solid hit on Jamal Williams, who's a pretty tough runner, to be fair, out of the backfield. So there you go. Again, read the tackle, the guard. He's coming up to block arm on Watts. Panay still coming down to try and get Jack Sanborn. Kyler Gordon gets sealed inside. Not great. You need to try and make sure you keep that outside leverage there at that point. We've got the other cornerback coming up. But look, watch Jack Sanborn just basically. Look how he's just basically pressing, working his feet. You see how he worked from being square to getting a half man. This is what you call halving the man. So you start up square, right there with square. You see him work that left foot, close with the right foot, press off that right foot, open up with the left foot, open the hips, turn, accelerate, go, shoulders into the ball carrier, nice solid contact. Just kind of want to see him shoot his hands and keep running his feet there. He just kind of drags his toe on the turf, and that's why he goes down a little bit. But again, nice solid contact on the ball carrier. So the Lions here trying to show by alignment. You know, you've got a cornerback on a tight end here, got a motion tight end coming across. We can quite clearly see no one's moving, so we know it's some form of zone. Obviously halfback quite far back in the backfield again. We've got everyone with hand in the dirt, so it doesn't look like they're obviously showing pass. Jack Sanborn is here. This is where we need to make hay, really. They're like 1 yard from the end zone. You need to make a play. So what do good players do? They make plays in crunch times. You quite clearly see the sort of stack blocking, but no one's really getting off the line. You see how they're not really getting off the line. They're kind of just zoning it and coming down the line. See how everyone, normally what you do is get sort of going this way, but we see here quite clearly everyone's just going that way. You see how upright everyone is, you know, in terms of their stud bolt upright as the offensive lineman. That should tell you. And look how quickly Jack Sanborn sees that zone coming. This is really super stuff here. The speed in which he sort of sees that seal block here, this edge block, he sees that, and at the end of the day, this is not really his gap, because you've got 3 on 2 there, and he kind of gets across, because again, we know that our guy is in man now. He's in man. We're going to get man here. So Jack is the spare man. So what do you do when you're the spare man and you don't have anyone to cover, and you have a QB who's running out and he wants to throw over here or over here? Well, you close the gap and you smash him like that. And that's what assassins do. And you know, the Jack Bourne identity, you want to see the Jack Sanborn identity, that, you know, the Bourne identity, whatever. Look at that speed that he's able to sort of read. Okay, he knows everyone's just going sideways. You can quite clearly see. I mean, they're horizontal completely. Knows he's the spare man. Knows that this is going to now convert to man over here. That's a relationship there. Eddie's kind of passing off. This is man here. And you see, I mean, this really is quite clearly supposed to be a rub, and he's not even looking. He's certainly not playing the ball. Look at that. You talk about getting away with one. They got away with one, but you see how Jack puts his hand out to take contact and then pulls it away. Ollie, it's almost like he's got a cape there and it's a ball going out wide. Yeah, we all know you don't have the athleticism to throw that. Jared, you're just going to try and run for it. And look at the speed he closes here. So we just see this end part of it where he comes up and gets his sack. We just see it at full speed. You can see the acceleration, the speed that he recognises it, comes up and finishes, takes him down like he's a sack of potatoes. So we've seen a converted blitz where he's going out to read where the QB is going, and he's not actually necessarily a designed blitz. So we're going to get a designed run blitz, I believe, here from Jack Sanborn. You see the safeties closing up. Everyone's getting really close in the box. Arm on Watts there with a really nice subtle move. You see him create that separation there across the face of the centre. Look at that there, just sort of sneaking in and past. Travis Gibson is driving inside because then we're going to get Jack Sanborn around the outside. So it's almost like a stunt where we're going to get this kind of action going on. Again, look at Jack, because as he comes out to try and get him, watch him dip and get underneath that block, and then he gets square. Arm on Watts, who did that nice move to start off with, and Kyler Gordon blitzing into the backfield. Jack Sanborn making a tackle. You're going nowhere, son. It's a loss of yards. What a great work by the defensive line. And so again, arm on Watts, keep an eye on that there. Watch Travis Gibson, watch Jack Sanborn go around the back. So as we start it back again, that part. Watch this initial move, which is great. Again, it's sort of a slant there. Jack's going to go around the back, and Kyler is also coming. It's a run blitz. And then you see Brisker coming across there, and Eddie's going to sort of also read and react. And that's the thing, is that guard, which I think is Jonah Jackson, if I'm right. I'm not 100% sure though. Again, we talked about this previously, this play, where you want to set the guy up to fail. You don't just run at the gap like a headless chicken because you're an athlete. If you're not as athletic as, let's say, a Roquan Smith, you have to set people up. Again, watch the feet of Jack Sanborn. You see he's running straight at the blocker, presses off that like a running back, almost like a jump cut, gets outside, so he's going straight at the man. He's going to run down, he's going to not settle his feet until it's too late, because you press off that one, accelerate there, get your hips open, get past, drop that shoulder. He tries to punch and get round. It's like a massive holding attempt there. And again, look at the angle of the body to then sort of press back towards the running back. But arm on Watts here, sort of splitting the double between guard and centre into the backfield. Justin Jones as well, again with good work. Look at that swim move by Justin Jones around the outside here. Look at this swim on the left tackle, which I think is, I'm not sure if it is Decker actually. But anyway, 68 gets whipped like a drum. And there you go, beat like a drum. Arm on Watts comes in, and then Jack's, who's managed to sort of set that guy up, make him miss completely, dip, get around, square, flatten, drive into the legs. You see him get his hands around the legs, take the man down. What a great work by the defensive line, who are taking a lot of heat by people in the media and on Twitter, hopefully not on this YouTube channel, because you've got to recognise quality where you see it and also criticise where something goes wrong or it's bad technique, and that's what we do here. So I always say, what does emotion tell you? We get emotion, but we also get something happen here, which is quite an interesting technique to teach. So look at the relationship of the safeties in terms of where they're aligned. Look at the linebackers once they're crossed the midpoint of the centre. It's only when that motion, because if this becomes an orbit where it goes back, then I think you don't see these two switch, even though Kyler Gordon might make it look like man. I think this is actually man match. So where you get a sort of a switch, you're going to get a sort of a zone underneath where it's relationship. You see how Brisker comes back and then Eddie goes. So they reverse the safety alignment. The outside alignment here and outside alignment here stays the same. We get a rotation of these safeties. So the one that was back comes up, the one that was up goes back. And then we get the two linebackers that switch position. Why is that the case? So now we've got three receivers to that side. We've got one to that side and a half back in. Let's see what happens. So again, pass pro with like a pull lead on the outside to make it look like action, and you're seeing people go. Again, because we're getting play action, we're getting a little bit of a bite up here. What I like is that sort of, again, Jack is the free man on that side because, again, it's converted. And that's the inside zone by Morrow. And you see a drop back here. It's quite well covered here, you see. And then, obviously, he's not going to take that. He's going to try and hit this pass deep. Again, what we're interested in on this play particularly is Jack Sanborn going to come up and press and then go around the outside. There, swim past him. You see him he does this really well, and again we've talked about it a couple of times where he kind of goes into the man and then away from the man to get past him, because he doesn't have the length on the tackle, he doesn't have the mass on the tackle. What he does have is the speed to set him up to make his feet go dead, which they do right there, and that's the point where their feet go dead. That's when you see him jump outside, swat down with his hands, get around the man. Once his feet land, turn back inside with a good angle of attack, press towards the QB, take him down, his second sack of the day. So again, looking at it from this angle, it's going to be quite interesting because again we see that motion, we see the exchange of the linebackers, we see the rotation of the safeties. And then looking at Jack again, he's going to be left with the tackle, Panay Sewell, who's no mug at the end of the day. You know, first round pick, first overall was it? Or pretty high anyway, first 3. Because that's where the Lions always seem to pick. But again, you see how he's pressing up and inside, gets around the outside. That's where he where his feet go, stop there. That's when he jumps outside, gets the hands off, turns, flattens, accelerates, almost pulls the ball out as well. So really good stuff that by Jack Sanborn. So we're into the fourth quarter. Let's not forget that Jack Sanborn's been playing special teams all day. We get a motion across the field. What's it telling you? Quite clearly zone. We get what looks like a shown blitzer on the outside. I think that is that's Thomas the linebacker. Jack is here, so that's just to keep your eyes on. Again, they look quite tightly bunched there. This looks like run to me, and it is. You see the guard work the double to get round. He wants to get onto Jack Sanborn. Let's see if that works for him. Jack presses him, stays patient, and then sheds. You see that shed there, the violence that he's sort of stopping him. Yeah, he's getting knocked back by a guard. At the end of the day, he's got to run on him. But when he's sort of pressing outside, and then as this bounces to the outside, now all this is completely messed up in here. Yeah, Jack's gone back a bit, but watch him shed, get off him, come up, accelerate, and again, this is basically what a 2-yard gain. Yeah, I think that's the first down marker, but at the end of the day, from being 6 yards back, that's pretty good to get in there. And I do believe we actually even get an offensive hold here. It might be hands to the face here. Yeah, it is. This is the first hands to the face on Jalen Johnson, which was a fair call. But what we like about Jack Sanborn here is the working off. You're not going to necessarily win against an offensive lineman every time. Sometimes they're going to get their hands into your body, but then you need to get them off your body, and that's the way you do it. You got to have violence and torque. So what you want to do is use their mass against them. You know, they all wax on, wax off, Mr. Miyagi, all the rest of it. All that works. So as you see, he comes on and he gets a good position because they've worked that double with Ragnow pretty well to get down to the second level. We don't always win that initially, but again, you see him working sideways, peek outside. You see he's got himself the room now to get on the outside of the guy, look to where the ball is coming. He sees it get off there. Okay, I need to get off my block now. You see him again work back inside and then back away, kind of like a zigzag motion. Again, if you want to see that, so crow hop. You see him press back inside with that right foot, and then you see him clear the body, and then rip off, clear the hands. Okay, set myself up for the tackle. Again, shoulder into the guy, take him down. Jalen gets called for that, which is a bit of nonsense, but there we go. But it was good stuff by Jack Sanborn. Sometimes you can't always get to the quarterback. Sometimes you have to try and affect a play in another way. This is an example of that by Jack Sanborn. Circle him up, there he is. Let it run. Okay, we see that sort of, again, that wide action. They've got this blocked up pretty well, although it's a blitz. We do get a free runner there. Okay, he's going to step up. So, again, to Sean Gibson, Travis Gibson not quite under control there. He needs to slow his feet a little bit at that point where he's going to plant and then be able to get by. He just runs by him. So as he comes up, then obviously now we see, again, Jack Sanborn is the free man because we're in man. And the Bears run man coverage much better than they run zone coverage, in my opinion. This is way too far, bearing in mind that we only have 2 receivers out en routes. You know, we're a long way off that, with a blitz particularly going on. At the end of the day, you know, Goff makes his man miss, wants to press and throw the ball downfield. Look at Jack Sanborn. No, he's not going to get there, so what does he do? He elevates and gets into the passing lane. It affects the throw, and you know, if Eddie had been maybe a couple of yards closer, he starts here instead of here, does he pick this ball off? Well, there's quite possible that if he does start 2 yards closer, where the ball hits there, about a yard away from his hands, he's picking that and then potentially getting some good yardage on the return. But again, Eddie Jackson is our leading tackler at the moment now that Roquan Smith has gone. I'm not going to knock him. He's got interceptions. He's been playing very well all year. So again, you see Jack and his patience. You see just reading and reacting. He's basically mirroring the halfback. Halfback stays into block. Okay, now, because my man, which is the halfback, has stayed into block, I am now the free man. That looks to me like a bit of a passing lane. Let's hope Travis gets the sack. He doesn't. He runs past it. Nice move to get up and past it there. You see he wants to throw the ball quite clearly. He wants to sort of throw it down there. Look at where Jack's hands are. Look at where he's trying to get up and elevate. And I think he even diverts that. I think he might actually get fingers on that, because it looks like, you see the ball, see its rotation change there. I think he actually hits that with his thumb. So we're going to give him a defence pass there. And again, it comes off the hand of the receiver as it goes to the floor, which is that's where it lands. If Eddie started 2 yards closer, he's picking that off. But I believe Jack Sanborn actually gets his hand on it right there, his thumb, his left thumb, gets his thumb on it, diverts where the ball is a little bit. If he doesn't divert the ball, to be fair, Jalen Johnson's in pretty good technique there to be able to pick that off himself. But at the end of the day, you know, if your man stays at home, you get a free man, so you turn, convert to a blitz. If you can't get there, you get up in the passing lane, you get your hands up, you get your hand on the ball, you make a play. So we all know which play this is, and you know, I'm not going to say too much about it, but this gets called up here for hands to the face. Jack Sanborn gets robbed of what is quite clearly a good interception. That's called hands to the face, but this isn't going to be called a hold on either one of these two. It looks like a hold to me. And a hands to the face right there, slaps him on the face, in his face cage. This one grabs around the back of the helmet. But anyway, you know, the one that does get called is that there. And what we'll do is we'll just try and see if we can zoom in on this, because at the end of the day, this is what's called hands to the face. Let's see if we get its hands to the face. So we're zooming in. This is what robbed Jack Sanborn of his interception. Is his hands on his face? No, they're quite clearly on his chest plate below his face. He gets a pretty good press on him. And I think what happens is, the reason why he goes down is we can clearly see his right leg there gives way, and so does his ankle. That's the reason why he goes down, not because he's got hands to the face. So, sorry that's a blurry there, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Watch Jack Sanborn now, because this is where the attention needs to be, the Sanborn identity. Coming back, you see he's, again, sort of mirroring where the halfback is going. At the end of the day, it is zoned to that side. We've got man to the other side. And then Jack's basically the free man, again, going to get under into what he knows. That's the only receiver that could go behind him. This one's already down on the floor, acting like he's dead. The laundry's already come out. So Jack comes up, elevates, nice catch, plant, go. You know, try and make the most of it if you can. But again, this interception quite clearly flagged off for what was hands to the face. Let's see if we see hands to the face anywhere else. So I don't know, but that on Travis Gibson right there. Let's see if we can go one frame further forward. Yeah, that looks like, to me, I don't know. I'm no expert on the rules. But this, to me, looks like a hand on the face and a hand on the back of the helmet. Again, I'm no expert on the rules, but I'll leave that to people who are, you know, supposedly expert on the rules. And then, oh, do we get another hand to the face over here? I think we do. What's that? That, again, looks like a hand on the face cage. But anyway, here's what it is. Jack's going over there. He's basically reading where this route is coming. Again, you can see quite clearly his eyes are over that way. So what does he do? Goes and sits. You see he's changed his direction there. Now his eyes come back. You see the very last second his eyes come back. Ball is coming out. And again he has to elevate very late. So he jumps up, gets there. Nice hands catch. That's the way you want to catch it. Makes the catch. Turns into a running back. Gets downfield. Gets the yards he can. Good. Good interception, Jack Sanborn. So that was the Sanborn identity. I'm going to leave you with a little bonus play where he's going to drop into a zone here. So you see him read those three come across. He turns because the ball goes the opposite side, comes up and make a tackle. That's the Sanborn identity. Obviously undrafted free agent linebacker, and he's playing pretty well. He played very well in the preseason. I think he's earned the right to be a starter. He's definitely our best linebacker in coverage in terms of a zone. Not the athleticism of Roquan Smith, but definitely better smarts in my opinion, and he's able to set up blockers to be able to defeat them by using his brain, which he does to great effect by beating people early, by recognising plays quickly. That's Jack Sanborn. This is Bellissimo. Be kind, bear down, Bellissimo.